Welcome to our deep dive into India's booming concert scene. It's more than just catchy tunes, you know.
Hmm?
We're talking about a cultural and economic wave that's shaking things up in a big way. Think sold-out stadiums, global superstars, and young Indians who are absolutely crazy for live music.
It's like India has suddenly become the hottest spot on the global music map. What's fascinating is how this all seems to have exploded almost overnight.
Right. It's wild. To get to the bottom of this, we've got some great sources. First up, we have an in-depth report by economists at Bank of Baroda. They're looking at the financial side of this whole boom. Then there's a Reuters article that gives us the view from the artists themselves. Why are global acts suddenly so keen on India? And finally, we've got this really interesting study by EY and SISAC. It dives into the music creator economy in India. They get into the nitty-gritty of how music publishing works and how it impacts the artists themselves.
And our mission, if you choose to accept it, is to help you connect all the dots. What's fueling this boom? How is it impacting India beyond just those ticket sales? And what challenges need to be addressed to make sure this isn't just a flash in the pan?
Okay, let's rewind a bit. Back in the day, India wasn't really known for its concert scene. We had the occasional big event. Remember that Michael Jackson concert in Mumbai back in '96?
That was a massive event, for sure. But it was more of a one-off, an exception. Things started to change gradually from the mid-2000s. But it's really in the post-COVID world that we've seen this incredible surge in interest. People are craving live experiences, and global artists see India as a huge untapped market.
And it's not just a handful of shows either.
Yeah.
We're talking a constant stream of international acts, big names like Dua Lipa, Ed Sheeran, Coldplay, and these shows are selling out in minutes. It's like everyone wants a piece of the action.
It really is. And it's not just happening in the big cities. We're seeing this trend spread to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities as well, which is pretty amazing. But that makes me wonder why now.
Well, the Bank of Baroda report points to India's rising disposable incomes as a major driver. Think about it. Per capita income has jumped over 22% between 2021-22 and 2023-24. That's a lot more money in people's pockets, which means more money to spend on things they enjoy, like going to concerts.
That's a good point. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we see that over half of India's population is under 30. That's a massive young working class who are earning more and looking for ways to spend it. Concerts fit the bill perfectly. It's a way to enjoy yourself, connect with friends, and experience something exciting.
Totally. This generation has grown up with global music at their fingertips, thanks to streaming platforms. They've discovered artists from all over the world, and now they're eager to see them live. I think that's a huge part of this phenomenon.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the impact of the pandemic. After months of lockdowns and restrictions, people are desperate to get out, socialize, and share experiences. Concerts offer that release, that sense of collective energy that we've all been missing.
So it's more than just the music itself. There's this whole economic engine driving this concert boom. And it's pretty impressive when you look at the numbers.
The Bank of Baroda economists estimate that all the spending linked to these concerts could reach a whopping 80 billion annually. We're not just talking about tickets here. It's a huge boost to overall consumption across a whole range of industries.
And that's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about those ticket sales. This boom is creating opportunities across so many different sectors. Brands, for example, are realizing how powerful concerts are for reaching a young, engaged audience.
It's true. We're seeing a lot of creative sponsorships popping up, like HSBC and Kotak offering pre-sale ticket deals to their credit card holders. It's a great way for them to generate buzz, reward customer loyalty, and tap into this whole concert craze.
Right, and then you have concepts like the Road to Lollapalooza, where smaller events are held across India leading up to the main festival. It's brilliant marketing, building anticipation and getting people excited.
Speaking of smart strategies, let's not forget the ticketing platforms themselves. Companies like Book My Show and Paytm are absolutely thriving in this environment. They're not just selling tickets, they're providing essential services that are actually driving growth for the entire industry.
Okay, and we can't forget about the impact on hospitality and tourism. People are traveling from all over India and even internationally just to attend these concerts. It's a whole experience.
The Coldplay concert in Ahmedabad is a perfect example. Hotel prices there surged by an incredible 200% because of the huge demand for rooms. That's massive revenue for hotels, transportation services, local businesses. Everyone benefits. It's a win-win situation.
Even the food and beverage industry gets a piece of the pie. Think about all those food stalls and vendors at the concert venues doing brisk business thanks to all those hungry concert goers.
It's a powerful ripple effect, and it feels like we're just at the beginning. But, and this is something we need to acknowledge, This rapid growth comes with its own set of challenges.
It's true. We can't just focus on the excitement without acknowledging the potential roadblocks. As with any boom, there are bound to be growing pains. And it's important to address them head on if India wants to become a true global music powerhouse.
Right. It's like building a house. You need a strong foundation to support all the amazing things you want to build on top.
Exactly. So let's talk about those challenges. The Reuters article pointed out a big one: venues. Many cities, especially those outside the major metropolitan areas, just don't have the infrastructure to handle these large-scale concerts.
It's a real issue. Building new venues requires a lot of investment, and it's not just about capacity. You need the right acoustics, top-notch security measures, and facilities that meet international standards. Otherwise, you risk compromising the quality of the experience for both the artists and the audience.
And then there's the issue of affordability. We talked about rising incomes, but let's be real. Ticket prices for these international acts can be pretty steep, putting them out of reach for a lot of music fans.
It's a valid concern. The Reuters article mentioned that ticket prices for Coldplay's India shows ranged from 2,500 to 35,000 towner. That's a huge gap, and it raises questions about who is really benefiting from this boom. Is it accessible to everyone, or are we creating a situation where only a select few can afford to participate?
That makes me think about the black market and scalping. The Bank of Baroda report talked about how this booming demand creates a breeding ground for people to buy tickets in bulk and resell them at inflated prices. It's a problem everywhere. But it seems especially prevalent in a market like India's, where the excitement is so high.
It's a huge problem, and it really hurts the fans. Imagine saving up for months to see your favorite artist, only to find out that tickets are sold out or being resold at exorbitant prices. It's disheartening, and it undermines the entire industry.
And then there's the security aspect. Big crowds require stringent security measures to prevent accidents, manage crowd control, and address potential security threats. It's a huge undertaking.
Absolutely. You have to think about everything, from clear entry and exit points to having enough trained security personnel on hand. Then there's the issue of emergency services and having protocols in place to handle any situation. It's a complex operation, and it all adds to the cost and logistical complexity of these events.
So we've talked about the economic impact, the excitement from a fan's perspective, and some of the challenges. But what about the artists themselves? The EY and SISAC study we mentioned earlier paints a really interesting picture of the music creator economy in India.
This is where things get really nuanced. While the concert boom is fantastic news, the reality for many music creators in India is still pretty tough. The study found that a whopping 87% of creators surveyed want to make a living solely from their music, but only 60% are actually able to do so. It highlights the financial instability that many artists face.
That's a pretty significant gap. It makes you realize that there's a whole ecosystem behind the music we enjoy. And it brings up the issue of music publishing, something that's often overlooked, but is actually crucial for creators to get their fair share. Can you break that down for us a bit?
Sure, think of it like this. Imagine you wrote a book. Every time someone buys a copy of that book or it gets adapted into a movie or TV show, you as the author earn royalties. Music publishing works in a similar way. It protects the intellectual property of songwriters and composers, ensuring that they are compensated when their music is used commercially.
So every time a song is played on the radio, streamed online, or used in a movie soundtrack, there are publishing royalties attached to that usage.
Exactly. It's about recognizing and respecting the creative work that goes into making music. But the EY and SISAC study found that there's a real lack of awareness and compliance when it comes to publishing rights in India. Many creators are not even aware of their rights or how to register their work to ensure they get paid.
Wow. It's like a whole missing income stream for them. And the study also highlighted the need for more transparency in how these royalties are collected and distributed.
Yes, technology can play a big role here. There are tools like audio fingerprinting that can track music usage across different platforms and ensure that creators are accurately compensated for their work. It's a win-win, it helps artists get their due, and it promotes a fairer and more sustainable music industry.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. The rise of India's concert scene is truly remarkable. We've seen the incredible economic boost it's providing, the excitement it's generating among fans, and the challenges that still need to be addressed.
But there's one more crucial aspect we need to discuss: the future of music in India and its potential impact on the global music scene.
Now we're talking. We've touched on the fact that Indian music is already gaining global recognition. The EY study had some mind-blowing stats about this, right?
Absolutely. They found that 7 out of the top 10 most streamed songs and artists on YouTube globally were Indian. That's incredible. It speaks volumes about the talent in India and the power of platforms like YouTube to connect artists with a worldwide audience. And it brings up the idea of soft power, which is something I find fascinating.
Soft power. Tell me more.
Well, think of it as the ability to influence others through cultural appeal rather than force. Indian music, with its diversity, its rich history, and its unique sounds, has this incredible potential to shape global perceptions of India in a positive way.
It's like how Bollywood music has already become a part of international pop culture. It's everywhere. You hear it in movies, TV shows, even in clubs around the world.
Exactly. And it's not just Bollywood. We're seeing a growing global interest in all forms of Indian music: classical, folk, fusion, devotional music. The world is tuning in.
The EY study also mentioned the potential of music tourism, with India hosting a growing number of music festivals that attract visitors from all over. It's another way for India to shine on the global stage.
They said that India hosts between 20 and 25 big-ticket music and food festivals every year, attracting around 1.5 million visitors. These festivals offer a unique blend of music, culture, and cuisine, showcasing India's incredible diversity and creating unforgettable experiences.
So putting it all together, India has this amazing opportunity to become a global music powerhouse.
Yeah.
It feels like all the ingredients are there. The talent,
Yeah.
the passion, the growing global interest.
Yeah.
But what else needs to happen for India to really reach that next level?
That's the million-dollar question. The IYSSAC study emphasized the need for continued investment in music education and training. Imagine if India, with its incredibly rich musical heritage, became a global hub for music education, a place where aspiring artists from all over the world came to learn and hone their craft.
That would be incredible. It could
Okay.
spark a whole new wave of creativity and innovation, not just within India, but for the global music scene as a whole.
Exactly. We've already seen how Indian music is breaking boundaries and fusing different styles. Imagine what could happen if we nurtured that talent even further, created spaces for collaboration, and provided the resources and support for artists to truly thrive.
So we've explored this incredible journey, from the sudden explosion of India's concert scene to the economic ripples it's creating,
Right.
the challenges that need to be addressed, and the amazing possibilities that lie ahead. It's been quite a ride. But what does it all mean for you, our listener?
Here's a final thought to ponder as you continue to explore this fascinating world of Indian music. What if India, with its growing global influence and its deep musical roots, becomes the epicenter of the next musical revolution? What role could you play in shaping that future? Whether as a fan, an artist, an entrepreneur, or simply someone who appreciates the power of music to connect us all, the possibilities are endless.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into India's concert boom. It's a story of cultural shifts, economic growth, and the boundless potential of music. Until next time, keep those ears open and those minds curious.